All right, you wanted it. A deep dive into the Nissan Skyline GT-R R34.
Ah, the R34.
A legend, no doubt. And we're looking at a 1999 V-Spec model
Whoa.
specifically. Got the original brochures and technical documents right here.
Wow, like a time capsule.
I know, right? It's amazing. These brochures show us exactly how Nissan was presenting this car back in the day, what they wanted people to see and feel.
Fascinating.
Definitely. So, whether you're a JDM fanatic, or just a car enthusiast, or maybe you're just curious about this legend, get ready because this deep dive is for you.
We're going to unpack why the R34 still holds such a special place even today.
Exactly. Okay, so the brochures, they start by talking about the R34's heritage, how it evolved from the previous Skylines.
The Skyline GT-R name already had this huge reputation.
Yeah, it wasn't just a new car.
It came with a serious history of winning touring car races.
Oh, absolutely. Nissan was building on a legacy here.
They were pushing the limits of performance with this car.
And they had this, what they called the driving body concept. Can you break that down for us?
It was basically the whole design philosophy. Think perfect weight distribution, seriously good aerodynamics, and a super rigid chassis.
So it wasn't just about power, right?
No, not just raw power. They wanted a certain kind of driving experience.
A whole package.
Absolutely. The R34 was designed to almost be an extension of the driver. A car that responded perfectly to every input.
And they definitely nailed the looks, too. Aggressive but refined.
Those iconic round taillights? Oh, yeah.
Instantly recognizable.
And that bold front fascia, it just screams performance. This particular model, the Bayside Blue, it really captures the essence of the R34.
Yeah, sporty and sophisticated all at the same time. Okay, let's talk about the heart of the beast, the engine. The RB2060 ETT.
A legend.
Twin turbos, 2.6-liter, straight-six layout. Pretty impressive setup, especially for the late 90s.
This engine was a statement, for sure. They squeezed so much power out of a relatively small engine. And they kept that legendary smoothness and high revving capability. You know, what straight sixes are known for.
Right, so not just powerful, but delivering that power smoothly.
Yeah, a real driver's engine.
Now, we can't forget about the ATTESA E-TS Pro all-wheel drive system. This was a big deal, way ahead of its time.
Oh, absolutely.
What made it so special? It wasn't just about having power to all four wheels.
No, it was much more sophisticated than that. This system was constantly monitoring everything, wheel speed, throttle position, and it could instantly adjust the torque distribution between the front and rear wheels to always have the best grip.
Wow, so no matter the conditions.
No matter what, you had amazing handling.
So even in the tightest corners, the car felt planted.
Exactly, glued to the road. That's what Nissan wanted, drivers to feel confident pushing the R34 to its limits.
Now let's dive into some of the technology. The multifunction display, the MFD, that was huge back then.
Groundbreaking for 1999, definitely. Imagine having real-time data like boost pressure, G-forces, even lap times right there on your dash.
It's like having a race engineer riding shotgun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Giving drivers real insights into how the car's performing.
Really adds to the whole driving experience. This car was also all about the connection between the driver and the machine. And nothing says that like a manual transmission. The R34 came with a 6-speed G-Trag. No automatic option here.
Nope. Pure driver's car.
Yeah.
The gearbox had close ratios, quick and precise gear changes.
Perfect for spirited driving.
Yeah, you really felt connected with every shift.
Speaking of connection, let's talk about those vents and diffusers and that big rear wing we see in the photos. What's the story behind the R34's aerodynamics?
Downforce, that's the key. All those aero elements work together to keep the car planted, especially at high speeds. It's all about stability and control.
So it's not just for looks.
No, it's functional.
Yeah.
The R34 was designed to be balanced, a predictable performance machine.
And the aerodynamics are a crucial part of that. Now, we could keep going on and on about the R34's performance, but let's not forget, it also had a refined side. It wasn't all about brute force.
True.
The brochures spend a lot of time talking about the interior. We see some pretty sporty seats in the pictures. What were they like?
They were designed to be supportive during hard driving. But they were also surprisingly comfortable.
Oh, interesting. So you could drive it hard on a track day and then comfortably take it on a long road trip.
That was the idea, yeah. Nissan wanted to create a car that was both thrilling and livable.
And looking at the pictures, the cockpit layout seems very driver-focused.
Absolutely. Everything is within easy reach. The steering wheel, the shifter, the pedals. It's all about that feeling of being in command.
So again, it's not just about the car's performance, but the whole driving experience.
Exactly, and that's what sets the R34 apart. It connects with the driver on a visceral level. It creates this excitement, this engagement that few other cars can match.
Now, I want to get your take on something. The R34 was more than just a car. It was a statement. What do you think it said about Nissan, about Japanese car culture, and about the whole pursuit of driving perfection?
That's a great question. The R34 represented the absolute pinnacle of what Nissan could achieve. It was a showcase of their engineering, their commitment to pushing boundaries.
It was a statement about innovation, about craftsmanship.
Absolutely. And, on a larger scale, I think the R34 reflects Japan's obsession with detail, with precision engineering. They elevated the sports car to an art form.
It's amazing how much thought and effort went into every single detail, from the engine to the aerodynamics to the interior.
And that's why it still resonates with car enthusiasts today. It represents a time when driving was about more than just getting around. It was about the experience, the connection between the car and the driver.
We've only just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore about the R34's legacy. Its impact on car culture, its racing history, its influence on the cars we drive today.
It's a story that needs to be told.
And we'll continue telling that story in the next part of our deep dive.
Welcome back.
To our deep dive into the R34.
We're really getting into the nitty-gritty now.
Yeah, what makes this car so special?
We were talking about the attention to detail, right?
Oh yeah, Nissan really went all out.
The brochures show how much effort they put into every single aspect.
Like things most people wouldn't even think about.
Exactly, like the underbody of the car. They have these diagrams showing how smooth it is.
Smooth.
Yeah, almost completely flat, with panels covering everything.
I'm guessing that wasn't just for aesthetics.
No way. It's all about aerodynamics. By smoothing out the underside, they reduce drag.
So less turbulence at high speeds.
Exactly, which means more stability.
Makes sense.
And it also had other benefits. That smooth underbody helped reduce noise and vibration inside the car.
So it wasn't just about going fast, but going fast comfortably.
Exactly, the whole package.
Wow, that's attention to detail.
And it doesn't stop there. Even the exhaust system was designed to minimize back pressure.
Okay, back pressure.
It helps the engine breathe better, produce more power.
Interesting. So a lot going on under the surface. I have to admit, I'm a bit more visual. What really stands out to you in the brochures visually?
There's this great diagram of the R34 suspension. It's a multi-link setup, both front and rear.
Okay, and what does that mean for the driving experience?
It gives the car incredible control over the wheels.
More responsive.
Very responsive and agile. The suspension keeps the tires glued to the road,
Yeah.
even during hard cornering.
That's probably where the handling like it's on rails thing comes from.
Exactly.
So much thought went into making it feel connected to the driver.
Absolutely. And speaking of connection, let's talk about that ATTESA E-TS Pro system again.
Oh yeah, that was a game changer. I remember you said it was about more than just all-wheel drive.
Right. Remember how it's constantly monitoring what the car is doing?
Refresh my memory.
Wheel speed, throttle position, steering angle. It uses all that information to adjust how much power goes to each wheel.
So you always have the best traction. Like if you're going into a tight corner, it can shift power to the outside wheels to help you rotate through the turn.
Exactly, and it happens instantly.
Wow.
So the car always feels balanced, even when you're pushing it hard.
Makes sense. The brochures also mention limited slip differentials. What do those do?
Okay, imagine you hit a patch of ice with one wheel. A limited slip differential sends power to the wheel that still has grip.
Instead of the one that's spinning.
Exactly. It helps maintain traction, put the power down effectively.
So again, maximizing grip and control.
In all situations, yeah. And the R34 had them on both the front and rear axles.
Even better handling. Now let's talk about the transmission. We know the R34 came with that 6-speed Getrag manual gearbox. No automatic option.
Nope, pure driver engagement. Nissan wanted a car that felt connected to the machine. And that gearbox? It's a work of art. Precise, quick shifts, perfectly matched to the engine.
That tactile feedback, you just don't get that with an automatic.
Every gear change is a reminder that you're in control.
That feeling of mechanical connection. Now, we talked about the multifunction display, pretty groundbreaking for its time, but how does it compare to today's tech?
It's a good question. The MFD was ahead of its time in giving drivers real-time data. But compared to today's infotainment systems, with touchscreens and all, it might seem a bit basic.
So more about function over form.
Exactly, giving the driver essential information without distractions.
Which makes sense in a performance car like the R34. Let's talk about those sporty seats again. Were they all about looks, or was there more to them?
Oh, there was definitely substance behind the style. They were designed to hold you in place during hard driving. But they're also surprisingly comfortable.
So, track day and then a road trip, no problem.
That was the idea, yeah. Nissan wanted a car that was both thrilling and livable.
And from the pictures, they really thought about ergonomics, too.
Oh, absolutely. Everything is positioned perfectly for the driver. The steering wheel, shifter, pedals, it's all about control.
So it's the whole driving experience, not just performance.
Precisely. That's what sets the R34 apart. It creates this excitement, this engagement that's hard to find in other cars.
Now, let's be realistic for a second. Was the R34 actually practical for everyday use?
That's a good question. It was a high-performance sports car, first and foremost. Not really designed to be a family car or anything.
So maybe not the best for a road trip with the kids?
Probably not. But it wasn't completely impractical either. It had decent cargo space, the interior was comfortable enough.
So you could use it as your daily driver if you wanted.
If you were willing to make some compromises, yeah. But let's be honest, most people who bought an R34 weren't thinking about practicality. They wanted the thrill of driving, the connection to the road, that feeling of being behind the wheel of something special.
I can see that. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on the R34's cultural impact. It's more than just a car, it's an icon.
It really is, especially in Japanese car culture.
What do you think made it so legendary?
Well, for one, it was a performance beast. It dominated on racetracks and on the street.
It had the looks and the performance to back it up.
Exactly. But it was more than just that. The R34 had this cool factor, this aura of exclusivity.
It became a symbol of Japanese engineering.
A testament to their dedication to precision and performance.
And we can't forget about its appearances in movies and video games.
Of course, the Fast and Furious movies, Gran Turismo.
Introduced it to a whole new generation.
And its legacy continues today. Collectors are paying top dollar for these cars.
A true modern classic.
Absolutely. And its influence can be seen in so many modern sports cars. The R34 really left its mark on the automotive world.
All right, let's take a moment to reflect. The R34 is a testament to Nissan's engineering and their vision.
It's a car that continues to captivate car enthusiasts.
Back again for our final look at the R34.
Can't believe we're already here.
I know, right? Time flies when you're geeking out about cars.
It really does.
We've talked about the engine, the tech, the cultural impact, but there's one area we haven't really touched on yet.
What's that?
Safety.
Ah, yes.
It surprised me, actually, when I was going through these brochures.
How so?
Nissan really highlighted the safety features of the R34.
It's easy to forget with all the performance talk.
Right, but they clearly took it seriously.
Absolutely.
So what were some of the key things they focused on?
Well, the foundation is the body structure. The R34 had an incredibly strong chassis.
Designed to protect the occupants in a crash.
Exactly, like a safety cell.
Plus, it had front airbags for both the driver and passenger.
Standard now, but back in '99.
Not so common.
Shows they were committed to safety, even in a performance car.
The brochures also mentioned something called load limiter for the seat belts.
Oh yeah, for the front seats.
What does that do?
Basically, it reduces the force of the seatbelt against your chest. During a sudden stop, it's all about minimizing injuries.
So another layer of protection.
Exactly.
And we can't forget the brakes. The R34 had Brembo brakes, known for their stopping power.
Oh yeah, those were top of the line back then.
So even at high speeds, you could stop quickly and safely.
And they were fade resistant, which is important for performance drive.
Thinking.
They could handle repeated hard braking without losing effectiveness.
Makes sense. So it seems like even the safety features were designed with performance in mind.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. They didn't want safety to be a compromise.
Now, I have to say, these brochures are pretty impressive in themselves.
They're beautifully done.
More than just technical documents, they're like works of art.
The photography is stunning.
Capturing the R34's lines and design perfectly.
And the overall design of the brochures is so modern.
Even by today's standards.
They were trying to create desire, aspiration.
Make you want to be behind the wheel.
Exactly.
It's like they were selling a dream, not just a car.
The dream of speed, precision, pushing the limits.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into the R34, what's the big takeaway? What should people remember about this car?
It's a testament to human ingenuity, our desire to create something exceptional.
It's a symbol of a time when driving was about more than just getting around.
It's about the experience, the thrill, the connection with the machine.
And it's a reminder that even today, there's something special about a car that ignites our passion.
Absolutely.
But our deep dive is just the beginning. It's your turn now to explore further.
What do you mean?
Dig deeper into the R34's history, its impact on car culture.
Learn about the people who designed and built it.
There's a whole world of information out there.
A rabbit hole to go down.
Exactly. So get curious, get inspired.
Maybe you'll catch the R34 bug like we have.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll even get to drive one.
That's the dream.
Until then, keep exploring.
Enjoy the journey.
That's it for our deep dive into the Nissan Skyline GT-R R34. Thanks for joining us.